Welcome to Deep Thought. All of these dark superhero series. This is kind of fun, but kind of like, And I'll get into why it's a in a later episode this week. But I was just checking out the series Jupiter's Legacy. Jupiter's Legacy it was pretty good. It was pretty good. And of course, they had the Superman analog in there. That's like regular for these TV series, no matter what. And some other stuff going on between people and all of that. It's pretty good. It wasn't as bad as some other ones. Like I've been checking out this animated show, Invincible. And I was thinking about Invincible now. That's bloody. That is bloody. And, they try to make it kind of fun. But I'm like, there's a lot of blood in here for a superhero series. Of course, they had the Superman analog, Omni-Man. And he was the one spilling most of the blood. And then there was that series, The Boys. And, of course, they had the Superman analog, Homelander. And he was murderous. And I'm like, and basically all the characters, they weren't the goody two shoes of, say, the Justice League or the Avengers. They make Tony Stark look like a Boy Scout. That's kind of tough to do. In fact, and I was watching it, I was like, that's kind of interesting because, I understand something about superheroes, period. They are a modern day mythology. Indeed, I wouldn't be surprised if 2,000 or 3,000 years from now, there's like a whole group thinking that Superman really existed. And they trying to follow it. They walking around with the S on and all of that stuff. And they're talking, and of course they'll be talking about, that great Asian superhero, Superman. Notice I said Asian. And everything that he did for the world. Because, of course, he couldn't have been anything other than Asian. I hope somebody pick up on what I'm saying. And of course, he had that fine-ass black wife. Lana Lang. Anyway. But it's a mythology. And sometimes it gives you an idea of what's going on in a society. But, I'll get into that later. But I was just thinking about it because there's a lot of stuff like that lately. Despite everything going on, you got like these shows like this. Now, part of it is just to make money. That's the big thing now, making money with these movies. So always look at the money angle. But then I'm like, these ain't like, truth, justice, and the American way type of guys. Indeed, there's always, especially with that Superman analog, or there's another word, but I can't quite pronounce it. Hey, tomato. I ain't even gonna try with this word. But, similar type, Superman type. And indeed, if you think about it, when you think about the mythology part, I'll think about that movie, The Man of Steel. Superman started his real mission at the age of 33. How old was Jesus Christ when he started doing his thing? And indeed, in that, there was this play, pretty big play. I haven't heard anything about it recently. Well, of course, with COVID, but even before that, Jesus Christ Superstar. And, the character playing Jesus Christ walking around with a big Superman S on his chest. And I'm like, But it's mythology, because if you think about mythology, let's get past people, worshiping different deities and stuff. And that's, we're not going to get into it here of the truth of it. For people who follow those paths, they're true. For other people, they're mythology, including Christianity for many people. But we won't get into it for that. But the thing is, what do these stories tell? They are basically there to impart lessons. Like in the Europe tradition, when they talk about the Odus and stuff. And of course, there's some people think it's just myth, other people who follow the spiritual path. I'm not going to comment. People going to have different ideas. But one of the things they talk about are the Odus. And the Odus actually impart lessons just for living life. If you look at the Christian Bible, they impart lessons. The Quran and the Hadith from the Quran. And please, for anyone who follows that path, please forgive me if I pronounce that wrong, the Hadith. But, it's about stories. They use these characters, these stories, to impart lessons. And let me get deep into that. When they impart lessons, just as an aside, you know how on this channel, I just go with the flow. Stream of consciousness is on here. But when they impart those lessons, the best way to impart a lesson is not in a straightforward way, like you got to do A, B, and C. The best way to impart a lesson is through a story. Let me give you an example. I remember when I was in elementary school, and a story was told about this tiger who had lost his skill at hunting. And the tiger went to a regular cat to regain that skill and to learn certain tricks. But at some point, the tiger, he learned all the skills and then attacked the cat. But then the cat did something that the cat didn't show the tiger. Did a backwards jump, and he didn't show the tiger that, and the tiger was shocked. And the lesson from that was, don't show everybody everything. Because as much as people think they know what I'm about or doing this and that, I only show y'all a portion. And ironically, that wasn't like somebody said, yeah, do it like this. I learned that in a lesson. Indeed, in African culture, that was one of the main things that the griot did. They told stories, but it was to impart a lesson. So I'm looking back at I'm thinking about all this, these dark superhero stuff. Now, some people could say, well, it's entertaining and everything. But I'm going to tell you what. Sometimes there's a lesson there. Because I remember, now this is a series I would love to see done. It was a comic book series that was written by Michael J. Straczynski, the creator of, I believe, Sense8, but definitely Babylon 5. And it was basically taking the characters it was taking the characters from Marvel Comics known as the Squadron Supreme, which were basically ripoffs of the Justice League. Instead of Superman, Hyperion. Instead of Wonder Woman, Power Princess. Instead of Batman, Nighthawk. And so on. Instead of Green Lantern, Dr. Spectrum. Well, Michael Straczynski, he took those characters and kind of made them more realistic. So when Hyperion's ship landed on Earth, he was found by a couple, but the couple, they weren't like some happy Kansas couple. Shoot, they were in the process, they were having some marital issues. They were talking about divorce and everything. They happened to find this baby. And, and the woman's like, yeah, let's raise this baby up. But then there was a knock on the door. It's the U.S. government. They took that baby and raised the baby themselves. And for a bit had turned him into a weapon. And it was a deep series. And, one of the things I got is, okay, you got these powerful heroes, what they going to be about. Like the Batman analog Nighthawk, instead of his parents being killed by criminals, his parents were killed by he was a black man. And as a black boy, his parents were killed by white supremacists. So, when he started, he developed himself, became Nighthawk, and, instead of he would fight crime, but specifically only white criminals. Meanwhile, criminals of other races, they could walk past him, commit the crime, and he just turn his head. They changed that up later on, but that's how it was at first. So, so it's interesting, because one of the things that you see with these stories and with the authors, and if you know them, even the TV series, it's like, well, what if this person really did exist? Indeed, in Jupiter's Legacy, that was the interesting part of it. I hope I'm not spoiling it for anybody, but I'll give you this part anyways, not spoiling the whole thing. But the main, the most powerful character is called Utopian, a Superman-like character. And, he's married to, a super female, had super kids and everything. but his brother had powers. And there was a scene, and I thought about something I had talked about on here. They were sitting down before they were supposed to eat. He was insisting on them saying grace. And he was actually a very religious person. I was like, that kind of answers my question. Would Superman believe in God? But I was just thinking about all of them because, Jupiter's Legacy wasn't as bad, but all these series I'm seeing lately got a lot of darkness to them. And I'm thinking, okay, what's really being said? Because honestly, when you look at any writing and what people are writing about, any type of fiction is always a reflection of what's going on at the moment. I want y'all to think about that. And we'll get into that. I'll get into that more on Thursday. So anyway, check those series out. See what you think. So anyway, I'll talk to y'all. Peace and blessings.